So Injustice Gods Among Us is actually the first fighting game that I ever got good at, being a simple button masher with Tekken, Dead or Alive and Street Fighter before. And after enjoying Mortal Kombat X for a while, Injustice has returned with Injustice 2. With no subtitles, seriously, I was so concerned when I saw their first name for it. Every battle defines you, thank God. So do I like the sequel to the original that got me into this genre of gaming? I love it more. One thing that the developers, NetherRealm Studios, are known for is the fact that they're always improving upon their work when it comes to every single game that they're making, constantly adding new stuff so that they're not only standing out amongst other fighters out there, but they're on top when it comes to the offline single-player experience, and they did not stray away from that path with this game. Seriously, there is so much here that you can talk about for the people who simply want to play alone. And when it comes to the biggest thing worth talking about here, the story mode, which is amazing. The narrative takes place only a few years after the events of the first game's conclusion. The regime is gone, Superman is imprisoned, and the world is healing from the devastation that the wrath of the Kryptonian brought upon everything. Batman, being as precautious as he is known to be, has made Brother Eye, a computer that keeps an eye all over the globe for potential new threats, while also searching for stragglers from the regime. And while doing so, a new, extremely powerful being is on his way to Earth to collect what it believes to be its property. If you haven't played the previous game, the beginning of this one will give you everything you need to know about the story and the past in this alternate world, as the good Superman and his friends will not return, as the narrative will only focus on these versions of our heroes. I love that they focus only on the destroyed world rather than keeping on the multiverse theme like the previous one. Not only does this raise the stakes, as there aren't any good Superman out there to save the day, it also means that characters can actually die here without any fans crying foul. Another thing is that almost every fight in this story makes sense, as in Mortal Kombat and Injustice 1, there were tons of battles that were there to simply have some gameplay between the cutscenes, even if it didn't make sense at all. Heck, Johnny Cage beats the living hell out of Sonya Blade in MK9 just because she wouldn't go on a date with him. I'm really happy that there aren't any moments like that here. What is also worth mentioning is the scale of the damn thing. This is a big, epic story being told here. Major set pieces, actual emotional movements, fan service galore, and choices to add replayability. The choices are simply to choose a character to fight against a specific enemy, but there are two endings here. One clearly the good one and the other evil, like wow. But what I love the most, without a single doubt, and this may be a bit strange, is that Superman is actually not just pure evil here. You can actually sympathize with him. Superman is my favorite hero of all time, so the way they handled him in the first game I didn't particularly like. Yes, they did have the good version of him, so they balanced it a bit, but here, he's not just portrayed as a psychotic, children-killing evildoer. There's a moment in the story where I felt such sadness towards the Dark Knight and the Man of Steel, the whole situation around them. There haven't been a fighter that I've ever played that's gotten so much feels out of me, at least not to this extent. So the single player is truly one of a kind. It is amazing. Though it's not perfect, there are a couple of negatives I have. One being that some characters who were dead in the first game are now alive. And there are no explanations for why they are here. They talk about being dead, but here they are. I guess the comic explains it, but come on, one line could have fixed this. Though the biggest problem with the story is Superman. Yeah, they fixed him in some sense, but there are a couple of problems here. It's like they've forgotten what happened in the first game when he went on that genocidal killing spree in the previous game. Remember the scene when he lasers the people on the bridge? Yeah, a bit strange that nobody mentioned that when Superman preaches about saving the world by controlling it. I also have a small nitpick with the clash system in the story. I'll return later to what that means, but during the story fights, sometimes they say things that doesn't quite make sense during this time period. Take this for example, this is a fight you have with Wonder Woman before Robin betrays Batman, yet this is being said.
Damian despises you.
You can have him.
What? So overall I will say that this story mode is the best that NetherRealm has ever created. Yes, they did take out the QTEs and the minigames from the previous titles, but those kind of stood out as a sore thumb. So yeah, it truly is one of a kind story here. But let's talk about the most important part of any fighter. The gameplay. As previously mentioned, these developers constantly improve their work with each of their titles, and here we have pretty much Injustice 1, only much better. The basics for this game is quite simple: 3 buttons for attacks, light, medium and heavy, with a 4th button for individual character specific powers, like Bane's Venom, which buffs him for a short while, to something more technical like Batman's mechanical bats, which will help him get longer combos. Every character, just like the first game, also have a super move. These attacks takes a lot of damage and they are very cinematic and awesome. Some are obviously more impressive than others. Supergirl, who grabs the opponent, takes him up to the sun only to slam them down to the earth with her lasers, are a bit more impressive than Gorilla Grodd's scream in their face. Just saying, it's pretty boring. The super move depletes all 4 of your meter bars, which is used for several things. For 1 bar you can meter burn a special move to make them do more damage, add a new property like allowing you to continue a combo or something else. Another thing you can use a bar for is to roll towards your opponent if they are hiding on the other side of the stage trying to zone you out, and you can use 2 bars to jump out of a combo. Yes, there are tons of stuff to learn here, but the game will teach you everything you need to know with its tutorial. Finally, if you're in a combo, you can clash with your enemy, making this really awesome cinematic thing to happen, where the 2 characters will talk to each other, and here you can wager some of your meter to get either health back if you are the one who instigated the clash, or take damage if the enemy did so. I really love this mechanic, as if there's one thing I really feel like fighters today are missing, it's character interactions, and NetherRealm knows how to deliver on that front. And what else do they know how to deliver to their customers? Gameplay modes. Injustice 2 has so many modes, it's insane. On the single player front it has single fight, the story mode, the multiverse, which I will go into a bit later, but understand it is the ultimate offline experience that any fighter can have. The practice and tutorial, which will, help you on everything you need to know about the game. On the multiplayer you have Versus, where you can play with a friend, you have AI Battle Simulator, which I think is completely bogus. It's pretty much just having the computer face itself for grinding purposes. And Tournament mode, which should speak for itself what it is. These were the offline modes. On the online side of the spectrum, we have player match, where gear stats will come into the picture, where ranked does not. Luckily, I prefer ranked. We have private match, where you can fight against friends online. We have rooms, where you can meet people of a specific kind, like if you want to meet beginners, more advanced players, etc. And there are several gameplay types inside there, like King of the Hill, Survival, etc. There's so much here, it's insane, and the multiverse just keeps changing every single day and week to give you something new. The multiverse is where you will spend most of your time with this game on the offline setting, having several Earths with different plots, all of them changing at specific times. All of these will have towers with tons of enemies to fight with different rules and rewards. Some of these focus on specific characters to allow you to earn epic gear for that fighter. The rules can also be all over the place. Sometimes you'll have a sidekick, sometimes random missiles will shoot on you while you're fighting, and so much more. I like these for the most part, but there are a few exceptions. For example, does this look like fun to you? Let me answer for you. No! What else I will answer for you is the ultimate question about this game. What is the gear system? Injustice 2 actually allows you to level up characters, which means that there will be stats for everyone. Strength, ability, defense, HP, and the gear that you collect through regular battles. The multiverse and the mother boxes not only adds on to these stats, but the pieces of protection can also give you something more special, like allowing you to stage transition your enemy with a special move rather than the normal back heavy attack. The gear system is great. It really lets you customize your characters to kind of stand out with the 5 pieces of clothing: head, chest, arms, legs, and a special one, for example Aquaman's trident and Superman's crests. There's also the color changing shaders, which can even change the characters, like going from Captain Cold to Mr. Freeze, and yes, it also changes the dialogue.
Could you make me a snow cone?
Try asking Mr. Freeze.
Did Snot tell you to ask me that?
Finally, you can also get a new ability for your characters, changing Bane's RKO out of nowhere with his iconic backbreaker, which should have been his regular move. So what do I like about this system? It makes your character stand out, so you won't really meet a clone of yourself online, and some of these gear pieces can really look badass, but I do have a couple of annoyances here. You can't use the gear abilities without the stats at the same time, and for me, this is a major letdown. Another thing is the fact that earning these gear pieces, shaders, and abilities for a specific character is really difficult. My main is Bane, and I am having such a difficulty finding stuff for my character. I'm not finding new abilities or shaders or anything like that. I keep getting stuff for Aquaman or Black Adam. And if I do get something new for Bane, it comes from a regular battle, and that gear is usually much worse than the stuff I already have. And if I open a mother box, which is pretty much a loot box from Overwatch, only that you can't buy this with real money, thank God, I never get anything for Bane. So it is really annoying. I've been playing this game for a ridiculous amount of hours, and every time I get something new, I get more frustrated than happy. Plus, why can't I buy this specific Bane shader? The only thing you can use real money on are source crystals, which can be used to buy shaders, you know, the color swapping, and leveling up your characters to level 20, if you already have a character up there. Mother boxes can be found everywhere. You will get most of them when you play the multiverse. There is also the guild mechanic where you can join a guild, yes, with other players, up to 50 I believe for one guild, where you can get a an own special guild multiverse that have way more challenging battles than the regular one. Like having a boss battle where you can fight with other players together against a single opponent. It is possible to do it alone, but you know, it's there and you will get tons of, you know, stuff. There are daily quests, like play with a specific character this many matches, do 10 uppercuts, etc. So overall, I like the gear system. I really hope that they will continue working with them in the future fighting games that they will be making. But I really wish it was easier to get gear for the specific character that you want. Like, it's way too random in my opinion. There is a gear bias option in the setting, but it really doesn't feel like it's working. Yeah, it just doesn't work. What does work, however, 100%, is the presentation of the game. This is a beautiful game, so much more colorful than the first one. Try comparing this Metropolis stage with the one in Injustice Gods Among Us. It is insane. What else is insane is the facial animations on the characters. Holy moly, Batman is this good. There are a few times where it goes into the whole uncanny valley area, but the positives heavily outweighs the negatives. The character interactions that I really love is also fixed from the first game, now having intros that MKX had, some of them brimming with comedy, seriousness and dankness.
Done with the clown obsession?
Once you go clown, you never...
I can see why he dumped you.
This, with 29 characters and 20 stages, truly makes for a fantastic game that looks amazing. No, the music is still underwhelming. Better, but underwhelming. Injustice 2 is exactly what I wanted after playing the first game. An epic continuation of the story, showing Superman more of a tragic character than a psychotic one. Fighters from all over the DC-verse rather than, you know, a Batman sausage fest. Beautiful animation. There is no fighter out there today that has this beautiful facial animations. It is insane. And a gameplay style that really easy to get into and have fun with. It's not really that difficult. This is the first fighter, or the first game is the first fighter I really got good at, because it's pretty easy to get into. And because of all this, Injustice 2 will get the score of Justice out of Injustice. Or should I say injustice out of injustice for the double negative to become a positive? Injustice out. It isn't perfect. Like before, zoning plays a huge part of this game. There are tons of just players that just run to the opposite side of the screen, shooting on the others like across the entire distance with no risk, high reward kind of stuff. So I really hope that they will balance it with a patch in the future. What can't be balanced, or, you know, patched, I should rather say, is the music. It's my biggest annoyance when it comes to the presentation of this game. It's kind of sad because I love Christopher Drake. I think he was the one doing the music. Yeah, I think so. It's great music, but it doesn't really fit into a fighting game. There are a couple of stages that's good though. But anyways, this is overall a fantastic game. You should get it. If you're a DC fan or just or want to get into a new fighter, this really is the game for you. But anyways, until next time, I'm KingJGrim or KingJGrim, so whatever you prefer, and I'll see you guys next time. Now, my sister came in with a pizza, so I just gotta take that. It's the wrong pizza, no!